How to write a book summary. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a few simple steps to writing a great book summary. Now, there are a few reasons you might want or need to summarize a book. If you're a student, you might have a book report due, or you might need to summarize a book as part of your essay. If you're an author like me, you will need to summarize your book for different promotions and media. If you're a YouTuber, you might want to create book summary videos or summarize some of your favorite books for your audience. Whatever the reason might be, this video will help you. One more thing before we jump in is that there are a few differences when it comes to the type of book you are reading. Summarizing a non-fiction book will be slightly different than summarizing a fiction book. I'll go over the differences as well as a few pro tips at the end of this video. Step 1 is pretty clear. Read the book. If you don't read the book or only skim it, it's definitely going to show in your summary. So do yourself a favor and take the time to read the book you want to summarize. Step 2 is to take notes while you read the book. There are 3 main things I jot down while reading. First, I always write out any quotes that I want to remember. Second, I write down the titles of any books, websites, or resources the authors might mention that I want to check out later. Third, I write down the most important points from each chapter. You might not always know exactly what these are as you read, so the best thing to do is to take more notes than you think you might need, then you can sort out the most important items later. You can also underline and highlight these items if you own the book, but I prefer writing them down in a notebook so that I can find what I'm looking for faster. Step 3 is to outline your summary. Now this is where the main difference is when it comes to nonfiction versus fiction. For a nonfiction book, here is how I would outline my summary. I would start with the big idea. What was the main purpose of the book? Next, underneath that, I would write out 3 to 5 main points that support that big idea. After that, I would write maybe 1 to 2 examples or stories for each main point that were included in the book. Overall, very simple. For fiction, I would outline my summary using the big 5 that you may have heard of before. Number 1 is somebody. Who is the main character? Next is wanted. What did the character desire, or what is driving the story? After that is the but. What did the main character have to overcome in order to get the thing they desire? The 4th point is so. What did the character do? How did they end up solving the problem? And finally, the last piece is then. What was the solution? And what happened at the very end of the story? This outline can fit a number of different ways, but here are the main differences when it comes to summarizing nonfiction versus fiction. In nonfiction, you have the big idea, whereas in fiction, you have the main character and the beginning of the story. Next, in nonfiction, you're going to be looking for the main points, while in fiction, you're going to be paying attention to the major events that happen in the middle of the story. And finally, your nonfiction book should leave you with a clear takeaway, whereas your fiction book should have a satisfying conclusion to the story or the ending. Step 4 is to determine the length you need for your book summary. If you're writing something short, say less than 300 words, you will likely only need a few sentences for each item in your outline. 1 to 2 sentences for each should get you there pretty easy. If you're writing something longer, say 500 words or more, that is when you can get more creative and more descriptive. Each point in your outline might require a paragraph or more, and an easy way to make your writing longer is to include more details or more stories. So let's say you're summarizing a nonfiction main point. Instead of just explaining the point and moving on, include one of the stories or examples the author tells in their book. Be descriptive and even talk about how it made you think or feel. The same can be done for fiction summaries. Is there a scene that stood out to you? Describe it in detail along with your reaction to it. If this is for school, make sure you check with your teacher that this style of writing is actually allowed. To finish up this video, I wanted to give you a few pro tips when it comes to summarizing a book. Number 1 is to remember who your audience is when writing your summary. You should assume it is someone who has never read the material before, so make sure you don't include anything that would confuse them. Number 2, the point of a summary is to highlight the essential. Especially for shorter summaries, you only want to include what is most important. Number 3, follow the same order of the book. Explain the main idea and major events in the same order in which they occur in the book to the best of your ability. And number 4, finally make sure you paraphrase. Put everything into your own words. The point of a summary is to hear your retelling of what happened. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, then hit that like button. If you have any more questions about writing your book summary, please write in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer. If you would like to watch book summaries covering some really cool books, make sure you subscribe to this channel. My name is David and I will see you next time, my friend.